Hi scholars! Today I'm going to show you how I like to attack the prompt when I'm completing a remote lesson. But if you are able to follow these directions on your own and don't need a teacher model, you can actually pause this video and go straight on to the next slide. So to attack the prompt, I'm going to annotate the TDQ, which I have here on the left, by underlining or circling and labeling keywords, and then I'm going to type my plan on the right. So the first thing I like to do is actually resize my annotation marker because I find it's a little bit big, and choose a color. I don't care which color you use. So my TDQ question is, how does Sandra Cisneros use poetic techniques to illustrate the central idea of her poem? And just like I would in class, I'm going to start by either underlining or circling the keywords. So I've got Sandra Cisneros, which I know is important, and I'm going to use the text function to label because I hate drawing them all. So I know that since Sandra Cisneros here is the poet. And I'll go back to my drawing tool. How does she use poetic techniques? Again, obviously a huge keyword or key phrase. And this is where you can decide, again, with the text function, if you want to define poetic techniques, or what I like to do is actually give some examples. So far I know we've looked at imagery, we've looked at metaphors, similes, and I have the rest of my list in my classwork. Go back to my pencil, illustrate, which here just means like, I think about it, right, like an illustration, so sort of to show or convey. And then central idea of her poem, which I know from the PowerPoint has been both like literal and deeper meaning. Just put that over so it's not quite as in the way. Once I'm done underlining, circling, and annotating over here, that's when I move over to make a plan. And again, I'm going to use the text tool for that. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is read for the literal meaning, so I can get at the central idea and determine the central idea. Then I'll want to figure out what, and you'll see what I'm doing here is actually creating like a new box for typing just so it stays in line, but you can make it one box if you want. Step 2 is probably to like identify which poetic techniques the poet uses. And then finally, oops, put that up a little bit, and then put it all together. Analyze how the poetic technique reveals or emphasizes something from the central idea. There we go. So when you do this on your own in the next slide, it'll be a different TDQ question. Just keep in mind, you don't have to, whoops, you don't have to have an answer that looks exactly like mine, and some keywords might not stand out for you. But what I'm looking for are really the 3 things I just showed. Underlining or circling the central or the keywords, labeling them with either like definitions or similes or examples, and then creating a plan. It doesn't always have to be 3 steps long, but remember, the more detail, the better. The plan is really there to help you think about how you're going to be successful on today's lesson. If you have any questions, remember you can always drop a comment in Google Classroom or come back and rewatch the video when you move on to the next step. Good luck.